Hey, you Stygian Dogs. The new year is well underway, and due to illness and Elden Ring, I'm behind on some projects. Let's take a look at some of the books that stood out for me during 2023. These aren't necessarily books that were published in 2023, and they may not even be the best books that I read during the year, but they're all titles that brought me particular satisfaction. Two of them as a matter of anticipation, and the others marked by complete serendipity. When reflecting on the past year, each title readily comes to mind and conjures a vivid memory of time and place and enjoyment as I was reading it. This is always a bonus, one of those ineffable things that we bring to an author's work and adds to the art that they're giving us. A unique reciprocity, I guess, and part of the reason we love reading. While there's no pleasing everybody, I would recommend each of these. So here we go. First, we do love Conan around here, so I'm going to start with S.M. Stirling's Conan, Blood of the Serpent. I'd anticipated this one, planned on reading it well in advance of its release, and when it was finally in my hands, I relished each time I picked it up. I wanted to be sure that I was settled and ready to enjoy a robust Conan novel. This was a mindful and unhurried read. I didn't want to be done with it too quickly because it felt like a treat. I enjoyed the portrayal of Valeria. I personally love the deeper immersion in the Hyborian Age, feeling like I was spending my time with my hero. Given this, I thoroughly enjoyed the time spent describing flora and fauna, food and beverage. I love the hunting scenes, the action sequences. I'm thinking of the sorcery in the river and the giant apes. Ultimately, I feel like it worked well as a tie-in to Howard's Red Nails, and it was all topped off with excellent illustrations by Roberto de la Torre. A splendid hardcover package, and Conan fans that prefer Howard's bombastic brevity might take issue with Stirling's novel, but to me, if you love Conan, you'll get a kick out of this. My experience of reading Conan, Blood of the Serpent was further enhanced at the closing of the year when I spoke with Steve Saffel, who was able to provide further context on Stirling's contribution to the work, Stirling's love of Conan, and how he became involved in the project. And ultimately, the novel served as a prelude to a year of great Conan content, from the new comic series from Jim Zub to the Heroic Legends short prose, including Stephen Graham Jones's Lord of the Mount and most recently Brian D. Anderson's Conan the Child. Both great short stories that give us familiar yet fresh takes on our hero. So check out S.M. Stirling's Conan, Blood of the Serpent. The next is a book I went into knowing absolutely nothing about. This is what was recommended to me, and it's what I in turn would recommend to everyone else. Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary. The only thing I'd known about Weir was The Martian, and while I've not read that book, I understand it's well liked, and I thoroughly enjoyed the movie with Matt Damon. So with themes similar to what we see in that movie, Project Hail Mary does not disappoint. The book gives us necessitated Robinson Crusoe-esque ingenuity and a surprise turn fairly early on that was truly unexpected, and it just made the book. And it gave me a glorious could not stop reading summer weekend on the garden patio as I both worried and cheered on the protagonists. A great book for a perfect summer weekend. Its conclusion, I recall, celebrated with tacos and beer al fresco. Honestly, go into this knowing nothing about it. I thought it was fantastic and was probably my most fun read of the year. I highly recommend it. And should you ask, yes, apparently a film is in the works, and I understand that Ryan Gosling is set to play the lead. Next is Leviathan Falls by James S.A. Corey. This is book 9 of the Expanse series. I've made this series my book of choice for fireside and hammock reading during my summer camping trips. This, sadly, is the final outing for James Holden and the crew of the Rocinante. It did not disappoint. It ended things neatly while furthering the sense of the Expanse. It's a solid conclusion for characters that we love. So if you've not checked out the Expanse series, I'd encourage you to do so. It's a really fun read. This fourth book came to me out of the blue, Hammer of the Dogs from author Jarret Keene. Jarret Keene is an assistant professor at University of Nevada at Las Vegas, and he's written another book I really want to check out, a biography of the band The Killers titled The Killers, Destiny is Calling Me. When you read his dedication in Hammer of the Dogs, for Jack Kirby, you just know that this is someone who's got the correct influences. Set in a dystopic Vegas transformed by war and unknown calamity, we're introduced to Lash. She's the Academy's premier student, and the Academy, led by the Prof, is a school in the remains of the Luxor, focusing on high-tech warfare and the proselytizing of the coming cyborg Christ. The Academy exists in opposition to the evil that is Richter. Invariably, Lash will meet Richter and be confronted by a wider view of reality and a deeper understanding of the politics and factions at play outside and inside the Academy. The book starts out with hyper-frenetic action and jarring techno-jargon that drives home Lash's reality and the precarious existence for graduates of the Academy. In Keene's Las Vegas, well, it's a hellscape controlled by various factions, yet we discover there is dubious promise to the city's future thanks to foreign financiers and certain affected elites. The book just moves. At about 200 pages, it's an action-packed ride worthy of Snake Plissken. It'd be great to see this in graphic novel form, film, or perhaps better yet, an animation style worthy of its kinetic pace and dystopian setting, with the bonus that it has a built-in soundtrack that just rocks. Now, I was reading this electronically in the thick of back-to-school insanity. It was on the forefront of my mind while I was working on a video about Steve Gerber's The Man-Thing and Thundar the Barbarian. I wanted to get that video out of the way as a sort of prelude to a deep dive into Jarret's book and his take on dystopia. But alas, as a result of the back-to-school timing, I've yet to give the book and its author proper dues. So shout out to Jarret Keene. Congratulations on the book. I'll add a link to a recent excellent review from Tallahassee magazine. Check that out. Check out Hammer of the Dogs by Jarret Keene. And last but certainly not least, I picked up Brian D. Anderson's The Bard's Blade. Turns out I was going to have a chat with the author about his forthcoming Conan novella, and there was no way I was going to do so without having read something by him. I devoured The Bard's Blade, and I'll definitely read the trilogy. I've got the second book on standby ready to go. It's the story of two likable protagonists separated by unforeseen events, circumstances beyond their known realities, and how they are forced to adapt and grow in their new reality. I'd expressed to Brian how I appreciated Maria as a female character. Stoic, intelligent, strong of will. A character that I think my early teen daughter would also appreciate. She sees tremendous growth, as does the male protagonist, Lem, the bard, who I can imagine Brian draws from his musical past, the way he so successfully captures the performer's euphoria. And as for the Blade, well, you'll just have to read the book to see. I fully enjoyed where it ended, what it set up, and like I said, I can't wait to read the trilogy in full. And there you go, 5 books from the past year that I think are worth checking out. I've included links in the video description. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.